It's often said that every house has its secrets, nestled behind walls or buried beneath the floorboards. But not every secret longs to be discovered, especially in places like Cedarvale, where shadows cling tightly to their stories. I once knew a man named David who found his way to an isolated suburban home on Old Cedarvale Road. A quaint, two-story relic from the 1950s, perched on the edge of the woods. Charming at first glance, but it harbored something beneath that charm, a darkness that whispered secrets no one dared utter. On the day David moved in, the air was unnaturally still, as if the world were holding its breath. He believed he'd found an escape from the suffocating noise of modernity, but little did he know, Cedarvale had its own congested truths hidden within its embrace. David, an avid hiker, with a craving for solitude, filled his days wandering the dense woods. They were alive, twisting trails that shifted behind him, offering whispers to the trees. Each step deeper into the forest felt like a dance with shadows he couldn't quite articulate. By night, when the house breathed and creaked, the echoes of footsteps began. Faint enough to dismiss, yet persistent enough to unsettle. Time after time, he investigated, eyes straining against the dark corridors, but only shadows greeted him, enveloping him in an all-consuming silence. Days turned to weeks, and subtle changes emerged. A book mysteriously displaced, lights flickering cruelly at the witching hour, and whispers teasing the edge of discernment. Once, he thought he caught a glimpse of a pale face in the dark trees, eyes like obsidian, vanishing between the trunks as he blinked. But it was one violent stormy night, with the rain hammering against the glass like a frenzied drummer, when the true terror unfurled. David awoke to footsteps crashing through the tranquility, loud and purposeful. They were relentless, imperative, drawing him toward a hallway he had never noticed in the shadows. At the end of that hallway stood a door, barely visible, its thin seam whispering mystery. His hand quaked as it traced the outline of the forgotten barrier, the chilling realization washing over him. It was a secret room, masked by time and loneliness. Can you imagine standing there, trembling at the precipice of the unknown? He mustered the courage and pushed the door open, the grating hinges crying out in silence. Inside, an unfathomable nightmare revealed itself. The room was claustrophobic, devoid of windows, and plastered with manic scribbles. "Get out! Not alone!" And one chilling order: "Stop looking." Beneath those frantic messages, a trap door lay slightly ajar, breathing darkness. From below came a heavy presence that slithered over his skin, its malevolence palpable, like the air before a storm. That night, sleep eluded him. Not a flutter of eyelids, not a single deep breath in the clutch of dread. When dawn finally arrived, it felt like a rebirth. He fled Cedarvale, leaving his life behind, possessions scattered as he sprinted into the morning. He reported it all, the whispers, the room. But when the authorities arrived, they found nothing. The room had vanished, leaving only ordinary walls, unmarked and macabre in their silence. I've heard he still wakes in a cold sweat, haunted by the specters of Cedarvale, the shadows and whispers that play tricks on the periphery of reality, the weight of unseen eyes lingering on the nape of his neck. The house still stands there ominously empty, but I can assure you it's never truly vacant, not with the secrets it contains. So whenever you find yourself alone, or perhaps just think you are, remember Cedarvale. For some wounds never quite close, and some secrets, they refuse to die.